And now, Channel 5 Eyewitness News 5 on 5.
We feel that we've been trampled on.
Some residents of Bridgeton are fighting mad tonight after the Airport Commission gives the go-ahead for expansion plans at Lambert Field. Good evening, I'm Dick Ford.
And I'm Karen Foss. Deanne Lane is off this evening. The Lambert expansion plan has the unanimous approval tonight of the Airport Commission. It voted on the so-called F4 plan only about an hour after it was first presented to mayors of the communities surrounding Lambert. Channel 5's Julie Carey joins us from the newsroom with a look at the plan. Julie?
Well, as we reported last night, the F4 plan was selected by consultants from among 5 others as the best option for Lambert's expansion. It primarily affects Bridgeton. About 900 homes there would have to make way. Here is what would be added to the current setup. 3 new runways, and one of them, as you can see, cuts right into Bridgeton. Most of the houses that would be affected would be bought out because of noise, not because of the runway itself. In fact, about 250 of the 900 were already slated to be purchased under the airport's noise mitigation plan. But planners say noise levels with the expansion would not increase. This is the present noise footprint, as they call it, and this is what would happen with the additional 3 runways. Airport Director Donald Bennett says it's a hope this plan eases the disruption for residents.
This airport is terribly impacted with residents around it, and that no matter what we do here, it's going to be a traumatic experience for some people. And we've tried to minimize that. We really have. And I think the option we've come up with does minimize that to a great extent.
Now, this plan would nearly double Lambert's passenger capacity and reduce delays during bad weather. The price tag, a whopping $935 million. Financing is dependent on a bill just proposed by Senator Jack Danforth that would allow airports to add ticket user fees. Nothing, however, will happen overnight. It could take the FAA up to 2 years to assess the plan, and it will have the final say. Dick and Karen?
Julie, what will the FAA do next? What is the next step in this process?
2 important steps ahead. First of all, the FAA will do an environmental impact study. That could take at minimum 18 months. The other thing the FAA is requiring the Airport Commission to do is to study the possibility of setting up a brand new replacement airport. That would probably be looking at a site someplace west of St. Louis County. They'll have to take a look at that and study it just like they did this plan and then contrast it to expansion plans.
Thanks, Julie. It all sounds familiar, doesn't it?
New airport site is. The expansion, of course, of Lambert Airport will have a great impact on everyone, but the greatest is on the city of Bridgeton. Needless to say, many residents there are not very happy about the prospect of having to give up their homes. Channel 5's John Noel is in Bridgeton, joins us now with a live report. John?
Dick, I'm here in Bridgeton's Carrollton subdivision. One of the runways proposed for Lambert Airport will cut a path through Bridgeton just to the east of where I'm standing. And as Julie mentioned, about 900 families here will have to give up their homes to make way for that new runway.
This is Gist Road in Bridgeton. If the Lambert Airport expansion plan becomes a reality, this part of Gist Road will become a runway, wiping out Sandy Crane's home.
I want to live in Bridgeton. I want there to be a Bridgeton for me to live in, because this is a town I chose to live in. I've tried other towns and I didn't care for them. And I happen to like Bridgeton, and I like the people that I know here in Bridgeton.
At a luncheon this afternoon, the mayor of Bridgeton heard the airport's explanation for the expansion, an explanation that apparently was a lot less satisfying than the meal.
We need more information. We have nothing more than what we have had in the past. We need the assumptions that are going into this. I believe the idea that we're going to take 800 to 900 homes is ludicrous.
The organization that is fighting the airport expansion, the Bridgeton Air Defense, says today's announcement only signals the beginning of a new offensive.
We're going to stick together. This has really brought our community together, and we're going to be in for the long haul. No matter how long it takes, we're out here to save our homes.
Now, if you look behind me, you can see that pile, that wood pile back there. In a couple of hours from now, that wood pile will become the Lambert Airport expansion protest bonfire. Also tonight, residents here in Bridgeton plan to turn off their lights to demonstrate their opposition to the plan. Reporting live from Bridgeton, John Noel, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, John. The airport and the surrounding communities are all in the 3rd Congressional District.
Yes, and Republican Congressman Jack Buechner represents that area, and Congressman Buechner joins us now live from Washington, D.C. via Skylink 5. Congressman, welcome. Is it safe to say you've got something of a hot potato on your hands here? No matter how the airport expands, it's going to be your constituents. You're going to be coming to you to see what you can do for them.
Well, that's right, and obviously the FAA is a federal agency. The hot potato is in my hands. It's a faxed copy of the proposal. I first received it about less than an hour ago.
Congressman, someone mentioned that they were thinking of, possibly of moving the airport to someplace else. That was decided 20 years ago that Lambert would be the principal airport. Aren't we going to have to expand it somehow, and isn't somebody going to have to be hurt no matter what we do?
Well, I think, Dick, the problem here is that the airport plan is being put forward is we have to expand, and the question is, do we need to expand? When I met briefly with the advisors for the airport, I said, did you take into consideration what would happen if privatization takes place in Scott, or what happens if TWA moves its hub? They said no, they had not taken those into consideration. A lot of these estimates are based upon a geometric increase of passengers, which includes in it what happened during the deregulation. I don't think you're going to see that same kind of a hump occur again. So there are a lot of economic and statistical factors which I don't think have been adequately answered.
Congressman Buechner, yesterday we heard you saying that you felt that you hadn't been kept properly informed of the developments there at the airport. What have you done to inform yourself of what's going on and to get your views heard?
Well, I've done a lot of kicking and screaming, basically. I sent a letter to the director of the airport, General Bennett. He called me this morning. He apologized. I said, I don't mind it happening one time, but this is the second time now that I've had to literally pick up the paper and listen to the media to find out what's going on. I've never had anything given to me where I could study it. Today I got some. They've promised me full cooperation, but I have a lot of questions to be answered, and frankly, most of those questions cannot be answered with what I've been given so far.
Okay, Congressman, thank you for being with us for an all too brief discussion of this. I'm sure we'll be talking about it again later.
My pleasure. And it's the 2nd District, Dick.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2nd District. That's right. I got you in Gephardt's district. Excuse me.
Right.
That's a different part of town. Well, St. Louis isn't the only city with airport expansion problems. Nearly every major U.S. airport in the country is crowded, and experts say that major changes are going to be needed to ensure safety and convenience. Dallas-Fort Worth Airport is the world's largest and second busiest. It's only 15 years old, but now its board of directors wants to tear most of it down and rebuild, spending more than $3 billion. It was designed to last into the 21st century, but now experts say it's becoming obsolete. It's the same story with most airports built during the 50s and 60s before the flood of passengers brought on by airline deregulation. Chicago's O'Hare and Atlanta's Hartsfield airports are operating at capacity. Denver is building a new airport, and New York's JFK terminal is getting a facelift to speed passengers.
There's only a limited potential for adding capacity at the existing major airports. And if you look at the projections of how much air traffic there's going to be over the next 10 to 15 years, it's really clear that there's going to have to be some major new airports developed. And we think Wayports is one of the best ways to meet that need.
Wayports are airports in remote areas, used only to transfer passengers to connecting flights. Air travel is expected to double in the next decade, and none of the major airports is able to handle the high-tech planes slated for use by the year 2000.
You've got NASA, the Department of Defense, are building suborbital hyperspace aircraft, Mach 15, Mach 12. Those aircraft need 20,000-foot runways.
And some critics continue to blast the former Reagan administration and the Bush administration for failure to release about $7 billion in a trust fund that was created to build and maintain airports.
And now, Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 6.
Because I like to live here and I like Bridgeton. I don't want Bridgeton torn apart.
Some Bridgeton residents say they'll fight back because of plans approved today to put airport runways right in the middle of their neighborhood. Good evening, I'm Karen Foss.
And I'm Hugh Perkins. The plan will displace about 900 homes in Bridgeton, but those who favor the plan say it's vital to meet growing airport demands.
Because of the tremendous impact this plan could have on our area, we have a series of reports. We'll explain just what the plan is and where the runways will be expanded.
We'll talk with Bridgeton residents who lose their homes. Some are angry, but others actually agree with the plan. We'll also talk with airport passengers to see if they think the plan is a good one.
And we'll report on business owners who say the plan threatens their very livelihood. First, a look at the plan itself. Just hours ago, the so-called F4 proposal received unanimous approval from the Airport Commission.
It calls for a 15-year, $935 million construction program that would add 3 runways to Lambert. Channel 5's Julie Carey is here with details of the plan. Julie.
Well, the plan is really just barely off the ground tonight. It faces many hurdles ahead, but planners selected it from 5 different proposals as the best and most cost-effective. The plan means Lambert's current runways would stay in operation during good weather conditions. But in bad weather or at busy times, the 3 new runways would relieve the congestion and delays that often plague Lambert. As you can see, one runway shoots directly into Bridgeton. It would force the removal of 900 homes or apartments, 250 of which were already slated to be bought up under the Airport Authority's noise mitigation plan.
This airport is terribly impacted with residents around it. And that no matter what we do here, it's going to be a traumatic experience for some people. And we've tried to minimize that. We really have.
In fact, planners say the expansion would not create more noise. This represents the current noise footprint, as it's called. And this would be the affected area with the new runways. Quieter planes in the future can be credited in part. The expansion would double Lambert's passenger capacity by the year 2010. 39 gates would be added. But the bulldozers won't be rolling in tomorrow. Financing is one hurdle. It is dependent on passage of a bill just introduced by Senator Jack Danforth. It would allow airports to impose ticket user fees.
This user fee is not just for us. It is for everybody.
Do you have to have it to do this project?
We have to have some form of financing like that. It would be very difficult to do it any other way.
The whole project is now in the FAA's hands. It will do an environmental impact study that will take at least 18 months. It is also requiring the Airport Commission to explore the idea of a replacement airport, a brand new facility constructed somewhere west of St. Louis County. The consultants then must compare such a plan with the expansion proposal. But airport officials say because of cost, they doubt a plan for a brand new airport would be favored. The new one under construction in Denver, for instance, costs $3.2 billion. And if you're wondering about that construction timetable, the first runway could be complete in 5 to 8 years, but the entire plan would take place over 15 years. Well, we go live now to John Noel. He is in one of the Bridgeton neighborhoods affected, and he says reaction is mixed. John?
Julie, I'm here in Bridgeton's Carrollton subdivision, and if you can see that wood pile behind me, in just a couple of hours, that wood pile will become the Lambert Airport expansion protest bonfire. Residents here plan to burn St. Louis Mayor Vincent Schaemel in effigy. That's just one of a number of things residents here have planned in their fight to stop the expansion of Lambert Airport into their community. If the airport expansion plan goes through, instead of cars going up and down this road, planes will be taking off and landing on a new runway.
This option's not acceptable to us. We're going to fight it in every possible way. We want the whole region to be represented in the decision-making process. We feel that we've been trampled on.
But not all Bridgeton residents are that upset about the prospect of having to sell their homes to the airport. Bill and Norma Harenstein have been living here for more than 20 years.
Well, there's a lot of things about the place I like. We have the woods and we have wild animals in the back, and if I could find a place like this, it would be great.
But the idea of the buyout doesn't really disturb you too much?
No.
Well, I feel as though it's going to happen and there's really nothing we can do to stop it. I think they can probably delay it a long time with lawyers and such, but I don't think you're going to stop it.
But the mayor of Bridgeton doesn't see the expansion as inevitable.
This is just a selection that this is their preference. It has to go through a process, a 2-year process of an environmental study. And yes, we'll have quite a bit to say, quite a bit of input into that environmental study.
There's also a group here in Bridgeton called the Bridgeton Air Defense. Now, BAD as it's known, has been fighting the airport expansion since it was first announced that they were even looking at a plan. A spokesperson for BAD says the group has now hired a law firm and expects to file some legal action that could keep this whole thing tied up in court for at least 5 years. Now we'll go out to Lambert Airport, where Jeff Fowler is standing by, and he's spoken to passengers about this plan. Jeff?
John, airport officials here have said all along that if the airport is to handle all of the people that want to fly in and out of here in the next 20 years, expansion is an absolute necessity. But when we talked to some of the travelers here today, most said they don't feel the airport is too congested now. Studies indicate that by 2010, 20 million people a year will use Lambert. Airport officials say current facilities just can't handle that. Most passengers we talked to today said anything that makes travel faster is a good idea. but most don't find a lot of problems here.
Oh, generally it's not much unlike the other airports that we go through. We travel quite a bit.
It could probably get a little bigger maybe, but no, it's not too bad right now. It's pretty good size, I think.
I mean, you're able to get in and out pretty quickly when you want to?
Most of the time I am.
Not too many delays?
No, I've had some, but most is because of my other flights. Not really their fault here in St. Louis.
We came in quite well. We got through customs very well and away. Very good.
But airport officials warn that without expansion, the city's hub status could be in jeopardy if the facilities can't keep up with demand. One other pitch airport officials make to travelers is that if the new runways are built, it will be better in inclement weather, particularly snow, when sometimes in the past people have been backed up here at the airport trying to get out. We should also say that at this hour, some Bridgeton city officials are meeting down below us in the airport director's office, getting another briefing on the expansion plans, and we'll have more on that for you tonight at 10 o'clock. Reporting live from Lambert Airport, Jeff Fowler, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Jeff and John and Julie. The expansion plans will have a tremendous impact on those who depend on the surrounding neighborhoods for their livelihood. Money reporter Bruce Barnhart explains that many small businesses could lose as much as 3/4 of their clients. Most owners
the
say
runway expansion is being touted as an economic boon to the St. Louis area.
It has a significant impact upon our economy. That airport generates about $2 billion a year in economic impact to St. Louis, and so it really is very, very important.
But business owners whose clients come from the affected neighborhoods don't paint such a rosy picture. This mobile station opened just last week. Now its future is in jeopardy.
It's going to hurt the business because I would say 60% of our clientele is local people that come into the station and repeat business here.
Other local business owners here in Bridgeton are equally upset. They say a runway expansion could cost them 2/3 of their customers and possibly force them out of business.
The corner drugstore has been serving customers here in Bridgeton for 8 years. But if new runways wipe out nearby neighborhoods, the store's business could disappear.
Most community drugstores, which we are one of them, draws between 3 to 5 mile radius. And anybody that lives in that area north of us will be either removed by their homes being purchased by the airport, or they're going to make it very difficult for those people to drive to our store.
For others, timing is not on their side. One video store owner just signed a new 3-year lease, a move he wishes he never made.
In a video store, you only have a few square miles. And where the airport is going now would be within our 2 or 3 mile radius. And I'd venture to say over 75% of our customers comes from the north end.
So far, the landlord has not decided how to handle the lease agreements, but some tenants feel they will not be adequately compensated if they have to move. As one businessman put it, the sun may be shining outside, but it's a gray day indoors. Bruce Barnhart, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
And most of the owners say they're hoping for a change in the expansion plans because it would be virtually impossible for them to relocate their family businesses. And tonight at 10, we'll take another look. Jeff Fowler will report on a massive protest plan for tonight in Bridgeton.